Welcome to Trading Lounge and the European Indices with Elliott Wave and the trading levels. And starting with the DAX here on the daily chart. We know we've got wave 3 here. We're looking at an A and a B and a C wave here. We can have wave 4 in place here. I know this doesn't make a very nice C wave here at all. But we need to be very mindful of having a low in here because we're way behind the 8 ball when it comes to looking at the S&P 500, and we've seen this so many times before where the US indices are, have moved off and they're above their highs here, and then the DAX catches up. So we need to be mindful that this can be wave 4 in here. I know this doesn't count very nicely down as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here, but on some other markets it counts okay. So it's possible that we can just go straight up from here. Okay, so we need to be mindful of that in terms of our trading, and we'll look at that. The other point here is that we can have an A and a B and a C here for wave D, and then back into here for wave wave E, and move up from that point there. So we need to keep an eye on both of them. Okay, so that's what we'll do. So on the 4-hour chart here, now we need to call this low in here, whichever way we look at it, because we figured that we were looking at 2 counts, one with a low in here and one with one more move down through to here, but the cutoff point was support on the 12,200, which we are long from here. The resistance that we're going to meet up here will be at the 12,500, so we expect resistance from there. We also may even come back and retest the 300 here, because the 300 is in this case is minor group 1, which is 1, 2 and 3, and normally we'd look for support on that level there. So the market could pull back into that. So on the hourly chart here, we're looking at from the low here, beg your pardon, this low here. So looking at this as wave 1 or wave, well, that if it's wave 1 here, I need to put it in green, but just wave 1 or A wave and B wave here. And we're working this structure to the upside here. So I'm working it as an A and a B and a C to the upside here, but just be mindful that all the resistance is going to come in at the 12,500 area through here. This little trend to the upside here does not seem completed just yet. So I'm looking at wave 1 and 2 in here, and then moving up 5 waves up into 3 and 4 and 5 here for the 3rd wave and a 4th wave here. If it's wave C here, then that will be the top. But the main point here, any profit taking needs to come in at this level here. So let's get to there first, and then let's see what sort of patterns we get to from that point there. So on the tick chart here, just counting up from current low here, I'll just bring in some extra data here. So yeah, so from this low here, this is 100 ticks, so either wave 1 or wave 2, wave B or 2, and then we're looking up into this space here. So just this, if you're counting it up, this just can help a little bit. So wave 1 and 2 here, then 1 and 2 and 3, all the way over for wave 4 and up for wave 5 of wave 1. It is possible to have this wave 1 here sitting on here, but I've gone over this, and you can go over it as well, but I just think this is the A wave to here, then an A and a B and a C for wave B here, and 5 waves down for a C here. So then we've got wave 1 and 2 here, so 1 and 2 here, and then in this structure here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 for the 3rd wave, so from wave 2 all the way up for the 3rd wave. So we're nearly finished here. So the worst that can sort of happen here is that the market can come back to the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree. Yes, it may test the 12.3 here, but normally when we consider that when we're looking at level or a large number here, and this is a minor level here, minor level 3, if we get support on the next level here on the top of group 1, then we'll go up from that point. So, but it can come back and test this supply zone in here from group 2. It can come back here. It can also just continue to climb higher as well within all of this, but yeah, we can have a top in play here, but yeah. But look, here we're still heading higher. That's the main thing here. So we're looking up at this level up here for profit taking in this area here. Okay, so for the Netherlands here, just on the daily chart here, it's possible that this low is in place here. I've got this wave 3 here, an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here. It's moved into the 61.8% mark. We looked at this before as a possible wave, five waves up here for wave 1 and back for wave 2, and I haven't thrown that out with the bathwater either because, yeah, but anyway, this particular turn here, what we can look at here is that the trading levels, and this number here, the 550 area through here, you can obviously see that, I mean, it's the most important number in this zone here now, and we can see that it was support before, so now it can come the resistance here. So I was also looking for one more little move down to finish this structure here, but it has moved a little bit. Well, not really, it's about right. Let's just go to the 4-hour chart here. But if we have that 550 if we have that 550 as support, then we'll be okay at that point. So, whoops, we're working on the hourly chart here. Sorry about that. So we're looking at this being wave 3 low here, then an A wave here, an A and a B and a C for wave B here, and then up to this point here. Now I could have had this as the wave C over here, but because we moved up through this high here, I have to call that wave 1, and we went long from here. So we're long from here. I also see this structure to the upside not finished, so wave 1 and 2, and then 1 and 2 here, and 3, back for 4, up for 5, then back for 4 again, and then up for 5. So we will be going higher here. The question is that will we be seeing support on this level here? Because if that's the case, then we'll be going long from here. It's as simple as that, okay? But what we're looking for here is there's gonna, normally I'd say the first high above the level, but I can quite clearly see that we've got 1 and 2 in here, 3 to here, 4 to here, and 5 to here, just for the third wave here. So we're going to have 2 tops in play here. So we're not going to use the first reference point. We can use the second one here as a long trade, but we'll be able to refine that much further within all of this. So if this low is in place here, then we can move up from this one. Now if I come back here for a second, no, we're way above that. Yeah, it's pretty impossible to call this wave 4 here now with this, to be honest. So we would have to look at the triangle pattern that's happening on the DAX. In this instance here, if the triangle pattern we've got on the DAX can also be applied here. So if that's the case, we'll be going up into this box here, which brings us up into the 560 area. So we know already just from looking at this here that we'll be going higher into this space here as such to finish this structure off in here. And then we're going to use that 500 area here, 550 area here line for any further long trades to the upside here. So we just got to take it bit by bit for that. And this is the same for the FTSE as well here. So with the FTSE, I was also expecting one more move down through here. I mean, we've met our target here at our 61.8% mark here. And I was looking at this as an A and a B and a C for wave 2 here. It could also be a triangle pattern in all of this as well. but yeah, the bounce here. So just on the 4-hour chart, let's just take a look at that for a moment. So from wave B here, I was looking at wave 1 and 2 here, and then I can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can get that happening here, and it's and then if I take the top here of wave 2 here and the low here, then the 38.2% retracement level comes in where we are now. So it's not you know, it's not out of it's not out of range or anything for this wave 4. But when we look at the other markets, the DAX and the AEX, we've gone beyond the 38.2% mark. So it's kind of out of fashion having this wave 4 sitting here if I line it up with the other indices. But I just still feel like I'm one wave short with all of this. I mean, the extension in wave 3 here, I mean, where's wave 5 for all of this here for this? So perhaps we are in a triangle pattern, and we do need to call this an A and a B and a C wave here, and then we move up higher for wave D here. So that would be to here, and we would be looking for the next move up into this space up here with that. So that's also possible as well if I line that up with the other indices. It's with the 1 hour chart here, and we've been working long trades, so I want to talk about that. So I've just left it as wave 4 here for the time being. So but we have much the same intraday pattern as the other markets. So, well, I've been a bit more conservative here. So, in this case here, I've taken the last chart I had a look at. I had this wave 3 over here, but now I've got it over here in line with the DAX. So if that's the case, then I'll still look at this as an A and a B and 5 waves up for the C wave here. So wave 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here. So still further to go here. But on the other markets, we've got wave 1 here, wave 2 here. Then we've called this wave 1 and 2 here, and then 3 and 4. So it can push higher. So what I'll do with that is that we've got our long trade in through here, and you may even have another one on top of group 1 here. That's fine. But we'll just move the stop up here, so we've got this locked in here, and I'll just do some more work on it. So we should be pretty well for Friday and Monday into next week of actually moving higher. So let's just stay with this particular with this trend up, and I'll need to adjust things. But yeah, look, I feel like I've done all the right things because we've had a setup on. We've gone from resistance here to support on top of group 1, wherever we see a 3 is group 1. So we've done all the right things. We've moved the stop up from here up into here. So we've locked in a profit. There is potential for this market to move much higher. So so we're in the right place here. It's just that we'll have to readjust the wave count to see what we've actually got here. And meaning, coming back to the daily chart here, is do I consider the ABC here for wave 2 already being in place, and we go straight up from here, or do we go up in here as a wave D here, and same with the alternative count in the other 2 markets, and move up from there as a C, D and E here. So I'm not quite sure, but let's just keep our long trades on, and we'll just keep moving the stop up. And once again, here, this line through here at the 500, 7,500 is where the real supply, where the real resistance is playing out. So that's what we'll trade for at that particular point. And the FTSE MIB here in Italy, just on the daily chart here, this is sort of quite interesting. People that normally look at the DAX and the FTSE and so on have probably tuned out here. But in this market, we can count a nice A wave here, an A, B, and C here for the B wave, and then 1 and 2 and 3. And then we've been working through this triangle pattern through here, haven't we, with this? So, I mean, the irony is that this has got a nicer pattern in than the DAX and the AEX and the FTSE and so on. a smaller market by volume, but that's why I'm thinking that we may have a wave 4 in low for those other markets, even though that the wave C down here is not very nice in the DAX. It doesn't count. I can see it, and I didn't label it like that, like this, because you would have thrown tomatoes at me. But I think that, yeah, this is looking quite good. So we can possibly have the low in place here. So with the low in place here and counting up through here, I've got two counts. They're both positive, which is something. So I just go to the 4-hour chart here. And one of them is that I've got wave 1 here and wave 2 here in green, and then I'll be looking for 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here coming into the third wave. So 1 and 2 and 3, and then there will be 4, and then there'll be 5, so moving up nicely like that. The other count, which I've got on the hourly chart here, bear with me a second, so that's the low here. We don't need all of that. The other low, the other way to count this to the upside is wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, and then, sorry, I haven't adjusted this one, but wave 5 up into this space here. And then we have an ABC correction. So basically we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here, and then we'll have an A and a B and a C wave here, and then we move up from that way there. It's kind of valid because wave 4 here, wave 2 is nice and sharp in this one, but this wave 4 here is more sideways here. The only problem with this being a sideways movement here is that we're overlapping wave 1 here. So, yeah, I mean, when I look at this here, it makes a nice wave 4. Like, it's complicated, you know, compared to the move up here as wave 3. The wave 4 here has been more time consuming here. So it makes a good wave 4, but the only problem with it overlaps wave 1. So with each count, there's one problem with each count. So I think that what we'll do is we'll just continue to monitor this market, and the intraday count for all of these markets is pretty much the same, so I'll be able to work it out. The 500 area through here, if we don't pull back through here, then we need this 500 here as support. Okay, so there is going to be some type of dance across here. So the normal dance is the arrival, some sort of reaction in 3 waves, and then the first high above the level. Okay, so that high above the level is what we want. We don't, not in trading, we don't normally chase this one up, but we wait for some sort of correction here. Once we've got that correction, once we got that first high above the level here, then that's going to be our reference point here. And yes, we can bring it down to the next one and so on. And if it's breached, well then fine, that's great. So that's what we'll do. So we'll look for that first high above the level here. Okay, but in the meantime, taking some profit at this level here, or even just above it in this case, would be fine if you wanted to take part profit here. But we want to see the reason for taking part profit here is that the market could give us this ABC correction back down, and we don't want to look silly and not take profit while we could have, and we should have at a number at 500. I mean, 5 is the second strongest number in the market, so we're definitely going to see a dance across here. But the idea would be that if the market was going to continue to the upside based on that 4-hour count, and we get this pattern here, and then we push up from here, then it makes sense, doesn't it, to take some profit here. We could also we'll also be looking to get back in, and so on. So we probably won't hold all the way back down through here. That doesn't make sense at this stage. I'm looking at the European market, so we can bring this up into break even or profit here for this. So that's what we'll do. And if we get that dance across here and move up, well then we'll continue to work that. if this is going to fall back down here, at least we've locked in something here. Okay, so that makes a little bit more sense. So yeah, let's just clear this up here for a second. Sorry, I haven't adjusted that. I've got to shift all that across here, but we're going to expect, it's all about the 500, okay? It's not about much else. We can push higher through here. So the other move up here will be coming up here, the same move here, and then having an A and a B and a C wave, probably back down into this space here, and then moving up through here. Okay, so I'll leave that with you for the time being. Alrighty, thanks for tuning in and enjoy the weekend. Cheers.